Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, City Current CEO, Jeremy Park.
Welcome back to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference, empowering the good. And we love talking about the FedEx St. Jude Championship. And that's why we're so excited to have with us Joe Tomic, Executive Director, and Robert Miller, Director of Sales with the FedEx St. Jude Championship. How are you two doing?
Good, Jeremy. How you doing, bud?
Doing good. We have a lot to unpack, a lot to talk about. Absolutely excited when you look at what this event does and putting a global spotlight on Memphis in the Mid-South. Top golfers. I mean, this thing is an amazing experience all the way around. But Joe, let's start with you. Give us a little bit of backstory. When you talk about the FedEx St. Jude Championship and the importance for Memphis in the Mid-South, give us some background.
Yeah, we're going into our 67th year of professional golf in Memphis, Tennessee. It's one of the longest standing cities to host a continuous tour stop. And that comes with a lot of history, a lot of pride, a lot of great memories from our fans and volunteers and even some of our players who've been coming for a long time. All that while, we've had 13 different names and logos and formats and dates and all sorts of changes that have happened. And ultimately, where it's led us to is where we're at today. And that's kicking off the FedEx Cup playoffs right here in Memphis, Tennessee. So the entire postseason for the PGA Tour starts right here in our hometown. And, that's the biggest stage we've ever been on. All season long, our players compete to make it to Memphis. They have to qualify to get here. Only the top 70 are guaranteed a spot. And from there, they move on to 50 and finally to 30 at East Lake. But what that brings is the eyes of the golf world, truly the world, on us, hosting an incredible event, great competition, beautiful city, and obviously a great cause with our relationship with St. Jude. Last year alone, we had 67 million people tune in from around the world. We were top 3 watch tournament in Canada, Mexico, Germany, Norway. All of these markets who are watching our city host a golf tournament. And now maybe they're thinking, hey, I should go to Memphis next year, or I didn't realize that about the city. Maybe I should add that to my summer vacation schedule. That's the opportunity and the reason an event of this caliber and reach is so valuable to our city and the potential economic viewership, tourist dollars, all of that impact that we have the opportunity to bring to the city.
Yeah, we're going to dive in deep on this because, to your point, to have the biggest names in golf, a global stage and spotlight, an intimate experience, the fact that you can walk around and see everyone and be right there in the moment, and a lot of exciting moments. So a lot to talk about, family friendly, whether you're a golf fan or not, lots to do. But one of the other cool things is when you look at this as a draw, bringing in some talent of your own, including Robert. So give us a little bit of an intro for Robert.
Super excited to have Robert join our team about 2 months ago. And, to me, it's a test case to not only the city, but the tournament as well. Robert's got 20 plus years in the industry as a sports executive, stints across NBA, WNBA, and I'll let him go into his background. But, the ability to attract someone of his caliber to relocate his family to Memphis, Tennessee, that he wants to call home, because of the belief he has in this event and, the growth that we're on and his belief in the city. It's a really encouraging sign and something that I think a lot of other people in Memphis need to hear and see, because we are able to attract talent and retain talent, and he's the living embodiment of that.
Yeah. So Robert, let's switch it over to you. One, welcome to Memphis. I've already said that before, but on the show, welcome to Memphis. Talk about what is really exciting for you and your family to be here in Memphis, but obviously to be a part of the FedEx St. Jude Championship.
Yeah, I think, coming from a team sports side, you spend just waking hours trying to figure out how to put people in seats, people coming out to your buildings without depending on wins and losses. I mean, sports is such a hard, it's a hard field to kind of play if you depend strictly on if your team's going to be good or they're going to be bad. I mean, you could have a sellout crowd, you could have 0 people in the building if you depend on that. So you do a lot of time spending like, how do we get people to view your product other than about wins and losses? And I tell you, when you look at something like the PGA Tour, the FedEx St. Jude Championship, that embodies the definition of supporting something other than the sport itself. I mean, when I started talking to Joe and really started to dive deep into the FedEx St. Jude Championship and what it means from a philanthropic standpoint, it really just kind of engaged me to a point where I knew we were doing something bigger than golf. Yes, we are one of the largest tournaments in the Mid-South. Yes, we're one of the biggest events in Memphis in the summer. Yes, I mean, first round of the FedEx Cup, you can't beat it. Hometown of our biggest partner, FedEx. I mean, there's so many different variables that just make this tournament what it is. But I think the biggest thing is just the philanthropic side of what we have in our title, St. Jude. I mean, everybody on the planet knows what St. Jude is. Awesome story, awesome back history, located right here in Memphis. And for us to take the proceeds from our tournament and turn that into a check for St. Jude. And it was really cool. I think it was really unique by that being one of the things that attracted me to really and truly giving this tournament a look. Is the first event that Joe invited me to was our partner tournament, where we actually turned in a check from last year's event, and it was $6.3 million. And it's unheard of to think about a sporting event that's able to raise that kind of funds for a organization like that. And so when you make something more than just the sport itself, that's what brings people to the table. And that's what I love so much about what we do from a philanthropic standpoint with FedEx St. Jude at this point.
Joe, carry that on your end into that storyline, because the through line of supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, I mean, when you're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars, the legacy, having it in the name, that's very unique in the world as well. When you look at typical title sponsorships, corporate, but tying St. Jude in there, and then the through line of having the youth be a part of the experience. You have the FedEx plane out there that's named after a child. Like, there's so many cool elements that play within this St. Jude storyline, the philanthropic higher purpose. Touch on that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, Robert hit on it. FedEx is the ultimate corporate champion. Their support for golf, their support for the city of Memphis, their support for St. Jude, that's what allows all of this to happen. You mentioned it, Jeremy. We're the only PGA Tour event whose charity partner is in the event name. It doesn't happen. Corporations purchase the rights to be a title sponsor so they can receive the accolades, the branding, the marketing, the exposure, et cetera. All of those things are probably 10 through 20 on FedEx's priority list of why they do this. First and foremost is for the city of Memphis and for the support of St. Jude. So, always hats off to them. And then from there, I still say that we have the most compelling philanthropic relationship in all of sports. Take aside golf, which has an amazing charitable connection. The PGA Tour gives more annually to charities than the NFL, NBA, MLB combined in the way we're structured. Nowhere is that more prevalent and visible than here. From the event name, like you said, being in our name, our logo, and all of our materials, to artwork on our caddy bibs, to our players adorning their outfits with patient artwork, to the patients physically being there on the 18th green on Sunday, whether you just won a $3 million check in a FedEx Cup playoff event, or you missed a putt on the 18th to lose it. They all smile and shake the hands of some of the sickest kids in the world on global television. And that's the impact that the tournament's able to have, that, to Robert's point, goes way beyond sports. The money that we generate for St. Jude, incredible. But the awareness, having St. Jude woven into every facet of our event, it's why we have the majority of the volunteers that we have. And it takes 1,600 of them to operate our tournament. Majority of which will tell you they do it so they can support St. Jude. It gives our staff another rhyme or reason. It gives our volunteers a true purpose. And frankly, I've never seen or been a part of an event where our players are so actively engaged in the charity as well.
Let's touch on some of the newer experiences, because I look at it almost like a a mini city that is being created. And so you have all of these unique experiences on each hole because there's something going on, not only with the action with the players, but like there's all these, whether it's corporate suites, areas for food and beverages, for viewing, like it's a cool thing. And then you have all of the entertainment going on everywhere. Family friendly, corporate friendly, just, date friendly. Like it's just a cool thing to experience. Share for each of you some of those nuances, including some of the newer things, like you have the Michelob Ultra Athletic Club, the Cypress Lounge. Like you've got a lot of really cool things going on.
I'll hit on some of the fan amenities and turn it over to Robert from a corporate side of things. I think one of the main things we're trying to hammer home this year is you don't have to be a golf fan to enjoy it. There's a number of reasons to come out, support the tournament, and find your own way to enjoy it. Jeremy, you said it first, kids getting free. 15 and under, if you come in with a ticketed adult, you can bring in 2 children. And we like to believe we're one of, if not the most family-friendly events on the calendar here in Memphis. And with that means you get 18 different front row seats is the best way I can say it. It's so unique in the competitive sports or general entertainment. For the price of what would essentially be a nosebleed seat in the forum, you can be front row to green or on the tee box or stand somewhere where you're going to get a high five from Scotty Scheffler or Jordan Spieth or whomever your favorite player is. It gives you that sort of unprecedented access that you don't get in most entertainment or other sporting events. And we make sure that there's something for everyone, whether you're buying that corporate suite and you have incredible food and views. If you're not, there's still places to go. There's still shaded bleachers where you can sit and get a reprieve from the heat. There's still places like Tito's or the Hub where you can get great food, great drinks, activations from our brand sponsors like AutoZone, Nike, Southland Casino, you name it. Places where you can go enjoy the experience. Your kids can have a little bit of fun when they're tired of walking around and watching golf. And it's, to your point, Jeremy, somewhere where we just love seeing as much of our city at one time. The amount of people that tell us it's their favorite gathering of the year just because it's their easiest chance to check so many boxes with how many people they wanted to meet and see and hang out with. We love being that outlet for that sort of civic pride angle.
Yeah, Robert, definitely touched on it on your end, on the corporate side especially. And to your point, like every time you're out there, you're walking in, you're like, hey, like it is the place to be. And it's also too so cool to just, you can sit there and I mean, you're almost like a hand's length away just watching them warm up. Like there's so many cool things that it makes it really special. So Robert, carry that into then corporate opportunities to engage.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of them, but to hit on Joe's point, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, these golfers are some of the best athletes in the world. I mean, their workout routine, their regimens they put their bodies through and all that kind of stuff. It's amazing to watch them hit a golf ball, especially when us 3 play golf all the time, most likely, and we can't do it. And that's the story of most people out there, that most people out there, they'll go to a golf course in the local Memphis area where they're from, and they'll shoot, bogey, double bogey golf, feel good about it. These guys are hitting 380-yard bombs. I mean, it's just nuts. And just think about having your kid. I mean, I have a 9-year-old and 11-year-old, and I cannot wait to see their face with the first time they stand next to, Rory or stand next to, just JT or somebody and just watch them tee off. Like I even though I work in the PGA Tour, I am so looking forward to that moment, being able to introduce them into a world they've never seen because, coming from a team side, it's just like putting your kid on the floor for an NBA game or putting them on the first row of an NFL game or a lot of people in this world don't get that experience to sit on the floor of an NBA game. A lot of people do not get the experience to be on the front row of the NFL stadium. They can't be on the front row behind the plate of an MLB. But this is one sport you can. You come out, you get a grounds ticket. The next thing you know, you're out on hole 3, 4, 5 at the tee box, and you're sitting next to the best golfer in the world watching them tee off. I mean, how cool of an experience is that? And you're standing next to greatness. I mean, that is just outstanding. So I just had to add that in there. But one thing is from a corporate partner hospitality standpoint, there are so many options available out here for whatever budget they have. And there's so many ideas as well. Joe mentioned, what we do for kids, that is a sponsorable opportunity. We have a sponsor attached to that. So how cool would it be to be the company that sponsors every one of those kids walking through the gate, getting that ticket, on behalf of XYZ company. I mean, like something like that's awesome. A great idea that they had is we play in August. Guess what it is in Memphis in August? It's hot. It is. And so therefore, instead of, not allowing people to bring in water bottles and making them buy a $7 water or $10 water, we let everybody bring in their own water vessels. And so we have these water stations set up. That is a sponsorable opportunity. Like we have sponsors attached to that. We have sustainability sponsors. I mean, like there is so many things out here that we can talk and create and look and feel to get people associated with this brand and this tournament. That is just, it's just the sky's the limit. And the best part about it is all they got to do is start up a conversation with us. And so once we get into talking, and Joe brings up a valid point all the time, there is such an idea of the perfect fan out here. You know what I mean? Like there is this picture of somebody that's supposed to be at a PGA Tour event, and that's the way they are. And that's not the way we are here. I mean, we want people from all walks of life here. We want this tournament to look like Memphis. We are dead set on having this tournament be a Memphis staple. And so one of the big things, and I know we'll kind of get into it, and I may be putting the cart before the horse, but of the people that walk through our gates, 61% of those people are from out of town. You know what I mean? So we are bringing so many people to this market, which is great for economic impact. Unbelievable, which I know is something we'll get into a little bit later. But the big thing that Joe and I really want to work on is we want to focus on Memphis proper. We want the businesses and the citizens of Memphis to realize this is their tournament. FedEx put their neck on the line and really and truly did something very special with the PGA Tour to associate their name with it. And with that came a tournament of this magnitude. And so we want the people of Memphis to take pride in the fact that a Memphis staple company of FedEx that runs their hub out of here decided to bring the level of tournament here that is the first round of the FedEx Cup. I mean, this is the first round of the playoffs. I mean, 70 of the top players come here. Only 50 go to the next round. There's no cut in our tournament. So you play for 4 days no matter what. And then your cut comes on Sunday. So it's just like, it's just like any other playoffs. Win or go home. Be the top 50 or you don't go to the next round. And it just creates a new dynamic, a new element that a lot of golf tournaments don't have, because most golf tournaments, there's always a next week. There's always a next tournament. Well, not us. If you don't play well, you don't go to the next one. And so, one of the big things we want people to realize in the Memphis area is that this tournament is built for them. When FedEx did this agreement, they pretty much said, hey, we want this tournament here in Memphis for Memphis by Memphis. And so it is just something we really want to do. So all of those local companies out there that could be sponsors, that could have hospitality, that could support this tournament, they need to look into doing that, because the bigger this tournament comes for Memphis, the bigger it's going to become for Memphis. You know what I mean? That's ultimately what we're looking for.
Yeah. And to your point, my wife loves to go. She's not a golf fan, although she's come to appreciate the players, but she loves it. Like the experience and being around everyone. And to your point, we have so many friends that and City Current partners. You all are a City Current partner, but the City Current partners have suites, and they love it because from a hospitality standpoint, you can spend all day out there with your clients, your prospects, your teammates. Like it's a great hospitality tool that's in a fun-loving, family-friendly, awesome experience. And so I just, I'm out there watching and appreciating the athleticism. She's out there watching and appreciating just the fellowship and friendship. And it's awesome all the way around. But I think from a corporate activation standpoint, you're right. One is it's a valuable tool. Two is it's a valuable opportunity for our city. Joe, yes. Carry that into, for your perspective as executive director, when you look at this, being a driver for Memphis, give us one or two of your thoughts around the importance of the activation locally, because obviously, as Robert alluded, you're getting it from out of town. We want to make sure that the community here in Memphis is really stepping up and appreciating and participating.
Yeah, I think what we found, and Robert alluded to some of the external traffic that we're driving, which we're really proud of, and we want to keep growing. Like I said, the event's been here for 67 years. There's a lot of great memories. There's a lot of great history. But with that also comes a perception developed at some point in time over the last 67 years And the event has changed so much that we're simply asking everyone to give it a new introduction. And that's basically what it is. The event is new. If you have not been in the last 2 years, you haven't been before. That's kind of our new phrase, new saying. I think we want to be in the best position forward. And while FedEx is an incredible corporate champion for us and is in large part the main reason that we're here and have this caliber of event. If you compare it to other markets that are hosting playoff events, you're talking about Atlanta and Chicago. Our predecessors were New York and Boston and LA at one point in time. Those are massive markets, all top 5 media markets. Memphis is the 52nd. And, our task, our job, Robert and myself and our team, is to ensure the event's in the strongest position going forward, particularly given the ever-changing landscape of professional golf. Showing people that Memphis can and deserves to host events of this caliber. Same thing with March Madness, hosting the opening rounds. That was a great showcase for our city, proving to the NCAA and to the broader world that we deserve and are capable of hosting those caliber of events. That's what we're asking of Memphians to do. Be advocates, be investors in the things that are making our city good, frankly. Whether that's us, NCAA, the Grizzlies, our incredible museums, hotels. How many Memphians haven't been to Graceland? I'm sure a lot. Go support that just because of what it does for our city. That's the common theme you'll hear from us, as well as you're hearing a rising tide from our civic leaders, from our chamber leaders, really ensuring that Memphians take pride and support the things that are, keeping us relevant in the positive mindset. That's what's prideful for us in being this globally recognized event, globally broadcast event, putting a fresh face and bringing in new viewers to our city. That's what keeps us ticking. The competition is incredible, and we're going to keep, highlighting the top 70 players over and over again. But think about the B-roll, the ins and outs of the broadcast, and people getting to see Tom Lee Park or some of our great new amenities that people might not think of Memphis. But it's a great educational tool, and we're really excited to have that platform.
Yeah, well, let's dive into the details and make sure everyone is in the know. So TPC Southwind, August 14th through 18th, 2024. Give us all the details we need to know.
Absolutely. As always, head to FedExChampionship.com or follow us on any of our socials at FedExChamp. We'll keep you up to date on all sorts of information. Sign up for the newsletter. You'll get a constant barrage of emails keeping you up to date. We'll have a number of summer events over the next 60 days until tournament week coming around the city to you. Gives you some great opportunities to engage with the brand, with some of our sponsors, do some ticket giveaways, some prizes, things like that as we build to the hype. FedExChampionship.com, that's where you can find all the ticket information. That's where you can also find information on what Robert and his team are tasked with selling from a corporate side of things. Like you said, all we're asking for is a conversation. If your company has not been invested in the past, maybe it's a great resource for business development. Maybe it's client entertainment. Maybe it's employee entertainment. Bring out your employees for a half day on Friday and, let them have the day off to experience one of the city's best events. Those are the things that I think we can always do more of as Memphians. And, we're trying to do that from our side of things too. So everything you can find at FedExChampionship.com. But of course, Robert and I are a phone call or an email away, and we are eagerly waiting to talk to people.
Well, make sure everyone, do yourself a favor, go out and get involved and fully experience the FedEx St. Jude Championship, once again taking place at TPC Southwind, August 14th through 18th. Joe, Robert, thank you for all you and your amazing team do to power the good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Jeremy, always a pleasure, bud.
Thank you, sir.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.